Ashley, welcome to the Lessons of the Lashpreneur Show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to share just what you've made possible to kind of inspire other people that either are working moms or want to have kids, but feel like maybe I can't quite do both, because
Very.
you've definitely been an example and proof that it is possible. It just is where your focus is. So let's start off with, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you're at now and how long you've been a lash artist and how long you've been in business?
Yeah. So I actually am a West Coast girl. I moved to the East Coast about 7 or 8 years ago now, with my husband. And his sister is the owner and of the spa that I work at. And she had kind of posted about how she really wanted a lash artist in her spa. And I was like, you know what? That girl's got to be me. Like, I'm your girl, Cassie. And so I had started, and she helped me get my feet wet into all of it. And it has just been kind of like anyone else, right? Like, oh yeah, I just put lashes on, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh
that's all it is.
yeah, no, it's not. And like, even my husband's an entrepreneur, and I know that it's more than that, but I still was just like, oh yeah, duh. So I found you, and ever since then, my business has really like been organized. And I think that that's just been like one of the greatest keys of success, and has kind of built this foundation to allowing me to be successful post maternity leave, which we'll get to that soon. But so I've been lashing for 4 years now. And I have two little babies. I have one that's going to be 3 in 2 weeks, and I have a 6-month-old little boy that I just had.
Oh
So
my gosh, you are in the
yeah,
thick of it. Ooh,
it's busy. Oh yeah.
my youngest is 3, and I'm like, are we at 4 yet? Because three is fun.
Well, that's what I've been hearing. It seems
Busy,
like it's
busy,
getting closer.
busy.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, okay, so let's dive into the meat and potatoes. So you had a 3-year-old. So you really started your business right before you got pregnant the first time. Does that sound right?
Yeah. So I actually was a full-time dental hygienist, and I had got into doing lashes on the side for fun. And when I had my daughter, I was kind of like, I think I'd rather like have my own business and not work, 7 to 7, 4 days a week, and then try to do lashes on the side too. I'd like to have a more flexible schedule. And
Yeah.
thankfully you were the one who was able to kind of help me realize that like I can set my schedule and like work it around my life and around this. And I just like, that's just where I ended up. So I quit my full-time job once I had her, and then I just did lashes after that. It took me, it was almost a year before I went on maternity leave, and it was the most terrifying thing ever, thinking I was going to lose everybody and no one was going to come back.
Right. So talk about that more, because that's a legit thing of like, if I take any break, if I'm sick, if I go on vacation, then somebody will go somewhere else.
Yes.
What was your experience of that? I mean, did you have some clients that dropped?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I did. And the surprising thing was I didn't have that many for both times. Um, I remember like searching on the Lashpreneur Society, or even some of the other like forums that are on Facebook, about like how much time people are taking off. And you can search for whatever it is that you want to find, really. I found people who are like, oh, I took 2 weeks off, or like I took 3 months off, or whatever the case is. And so I feel like I just had to do what was right for me. And I laugh now like hysterically, because I told my clients, I knew I was having a C-section, that I would be back in 3 weeks.
How'd that work out?
And they just said,
Yeah.
okay, we'll see you in 3 weeks. And I was like, yeah, I'll just probably like pop in, whenever like I can for my regulars.
Yeah.
Well, actually, all my clients were regulars, so that didn't make sense. So around week 3, in my midst of postpartum depression, I
Oh,
was like, yeah, I'm not coming back right now, guys. So sorry. And I pushed it to 12 weeks. And
good for you.
I
Wow.
did.
Good for
I
you.
did. And I mean, it was like 10, whatever, 10 to 12 weeks or so. And it was the best decision I had made. And I did lose a couple people. Some mostly like were kind of taking the opportunity that, like one of them was a teacher and her summer schedule was like ending. So they were like, you know what, I think I just need to pause lashes now that you're going anyways. Things kind of led into that way. But then there were some people who just didn't come back. But I'd say like 80% of my clients came back. The second one, I was, again, even though I had already been through it, I was nervous again for maternity leave. Again, looking through your thing, like, what are people doing? Like, what are they, I don't know what to do. I'm so afraid. But then I just told people that, when I return, I'm offering a full set at an extended fill price. Just because I think it's a small price to pay for the loyalty of those clients that have been with me
Yeah.
now for 4 years. And I also said, or if you want to go somewhere else in the meantime, I was willing to gamble that they might make a connection with someone else, or they might realize that they were closer, or whatever the case could be, of a couple lash artist friends that I had in the surrounding areas. And literally I lost one person just because she lived too far away, and the other person just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So I literally only lost 2 people when I came back the second time.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's hard to say that they weren't already on their way out, those that didn't come back, that they just almost needed a push, or like you would have lost clients regardless, you know? And so
Right.
to like pinpoint it just because I'm taking maternity leave, I what I struggle with, and I totally get the motivation to want to keep working. And I know specifically one lash artist who more or less was in labor, lashing on her last day, took, I think, the weekend off, and then she would bring her baby in, lash, breastfeed with the baby in the sling while lashing. Like, to me, especially as women, and all of the mental health stuff and the hormones, like our bodies need time to heal.
I was
And to
just gonna
me,
say.
there is a way to, if especially if you know it's coming, like it's one thing if it's an unexpected pregnancy and you got to make quick decisions, but if you're in a place where you're trying to have a baby, or you know you do eventually, you can build out your business in a way and have your income and savings in a way that you can take time off, because you're not getting that time back with your baby.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and even me, when I had my daughter, so she was my second kid, and I that was when I stopped lashing and went full time into the Lashpreneur. You know, I was a digital business, I was an online business, so I could work from home. I only took 3 weeks off with her. And in hindsight, I wish I would have taken more time, because she spent a lot more time with my mom. And I feel like I don't have the same bond with her as I do with my
Right.
son, who I took 3 or 4 months off with.
Right. Right.
Even when I got pregnant, I was sick for 9 weeks, and I had built out a community of other lash artists in my area that I felt comfortable sending my clients to. And I was okay that if they wanted to stay, because we don't own our clients,
Right.
right? Our clients
Right.
get to make, they have free will. We do not own them. We do not make their choices for them. And so if we can be a resource for them not to have to sacrifice something they love just because of our life
Right.
choices,
Exactly.
it almost creates more loyalty and appreciation from the client, knowing that they're not so reliant on one person just in case.
Yeah.
And you, as
Oh,
the
yeah.
business owner, have flexibility, because, kids are going to get sick, and kids are going to need, be off for the summer, or they're going to quarantine, and you have to have flexibility.
Right.
So
No, exactly.
kind of
And
talk to me about how your
oh, go ahead.
business works now as a mom and with a newborn, and just kind of how you're managing, how business is different now that you have 2 kids and you
Yeah.
come back from maternity leave.
Yeah, I would say that honestly, I was one of the benefits of going on maternity leave is that you get to come back with a fresh start. You get to come back and, as you talk about in the society, making your schedule what you want it to be. I was able to I had to reset my hours,
Yeah.
and some of it was by choice, but some of it was not. I wasn't able to get my son into daycare on the same days as my daughter because their wait lists these days are insane.
Yep.
And so I had to shift, and I was able to be like, I used to have my mother-in-law pick up my daughter every Monday after school, and I had to rely on her because I was working, and sometimes I didn't work out, and then I had to cancel or whatever people. And so I actually made it so that I'm responsible for picking up both my kids the days that I need to. And I just set my new hours. And now, because of, everything that you've taught me, I was able to target my marketing towards the clients who that schedule works for.
Yeah.
And they work around my schedule and not so much the other way around. Because I was really trying to get
Right.
those evening appointments and the weekends and whatever. And so I got to use this as a refresh, which was fantastic. And simply enough, I had actually the best month in my business financially I have ever had in all 4 years, just 2 months after I got back from maternity leave.
Snaps, snaps. Can we all
And
give Ashley a round of applause for that?
I honestly, I was incredibly proud and shocked, and also having anxiety because every time I cut him out of my room now, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put this person in 2 or 3 weeks. Like it is that busy right now for me. And I know it's insane. And it's also managing a lot with that and at home and stuff, but also being a mom and running a household and, oh yeah, working out and being a wife and just it's just all the things. It's insane. But I really love my last time for just being me and just being Ashley and talking with these other women who a lot of them are moms or dog moms or whatever it is. We all just have the same knits in life, and it's just really, really cool. So it's definitely more busy with 2 babies, but it's kind of working out the same only because I've made the hours convenient for me and around my family so much than my business. And I'm
And
having the best month ever.
yeah, and I was going to say, even with you prioritizing building a business around the lifestyle that you want and the availability you want to have as a mom for your kids,
Yes.
you still had the best month ever. It's almost counterintuitive, right?
It's mind blowing. And it's like the schedule that works for me. Like
Right.
that's what's awesome.
Yeah. And that's what I want everybody to take away from this is just, you don't have to, when we leave being an employee somewhere else, we tend to turn to our clients to be the boss of us because we
Right.
haven't quite shifted into I'm the one in charge, I'm the one in control. If my business schedule doesn't work for me, then it really doesn't work, period. And
Right.
so when you start to build your business around the lifestyle that you want to have or the schedule you want to have, which is part of the reason most of us go into business for ourselves is flexibility with our time,
Mhm.
then you have to look at what opportunities are available to you. And that is something that we teach in the society. Like, if you don't want to work nights and weekends, stop targeting people who work 9 to 5. There
Right.
are plenty of women out there with eyeballs who do not have a 9 to 5 job and can come in during the day or who don't want to come in on weekends because they'd rather be with their kids than stuck in a treatment room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
that was really important to me when I started my business. Is I just had my son at the time and I was like, I want to be home every night to put him to bed. I don't want to miss dinners and I don't want to miss bedtime, bath time. That was something that was really a high value to me as a new mom. And
Mhm.
so my last appointment was at 3 so that I could be done by 4 and be home by 5.
Yep.
So I
Right.
think 100%, if you could share with somebody who is really doubting that that would work for them because of the current clientele they have, what advice might you give them when they're feeling like, my clients would just, I don't have the clientele to come in during the day. They all work 9 to 5.
I would just tell them that I think that wanting to just do the marketing for those clients that do work better for your schedule, like the nurses, the pharmacists, the um, just those people that kind of can work from home, especially even nowadays working from home. A lot of people are able to kind of come in, just trusting that to, those clients that you have right now, they've been with you for so long and they've built a connection, a relationship with you. Those people are happy for you and they want you to take that time, and just that trusting that they'll most likely come back. And I think that that's just the biggest fear, is that you think that no one's going to come back, but you also started this business from the ground up and you're able to eventually, like, how to do this. So if you had to start from ground zero again, like, you'll know how to do it. And
Yeah.
that's
And
kind of,
even just having intention about your marketing, because I think in so many ways, lash artists are just clueless as to like how people actually end up in their business, but they are marketing to a very specific audience. They're just not aware of it.
right.
So if you are marketing like this saves you time in the morning and, you have availability that works for a 9 to 5er, well, then,
Right.
that's going to be kind of the people that you're going to attract, and not coming from a place of scarcity, thinking like, oh, if I don't get this client in, then all clients will stop coming in, right? Like I have to squeeze every single client in because if I don't get them, they'll go somewhere else. Well,
Right.
good,
Yeah.
good. Because you are having to make sacrifices for your schedule and your life to accommodate them rather than the other way around. So that's when we start to work 12-hour days, 7 days a week, because, I had to get somebody in, rather than actually the scarcity in your schedule being something that shows a client you're in demand.
Mm-hmm.
And also attracts the right types of clients. Because here's the thing, if you get to the point where your schedule is basically fully booked, it's working against you to continue to add clients to your day, because then you don't have the ability to raise your prices. That's where the increase in money can really start to come in.
Yeah.
Instead of taking more clients, you can raise your prices, work the same or less, and make more.
Yeah. And actually, I had implemented some advice that you had given about adding an after hours fee. And I had my first, it was a full set. And I was like, it's going to be an extra $100 because it was on a Saturday.
Yes.
It was on a Saturday and it was a full set. And I'm like, my husband, he said, what is your time worth, Ashley? Like, you need to think about this. And I told her it's gonna be an extra $100. And she said, okay, I'll see you on the 7th. I'm like, and she came and she bought product. And it was amazing. Yeah.
And, yep. Yeah. So that is a strategy we teach when you're raising your prices, because here's what happens. And this happens more often than not. When we raise our prices, we don't tend to lose that many clients.
Right.
Usually it's the people that were on the fence anyways, wanted to stop, or were having a hard time affording it anyways. And so when we're at the point where we're fully booked, and there's a whole strategy we teach in the society on when it's appropriate to do all these steps, because once we raise our prices, then we have strategies on how to minimize our schedule, because not that many people dropped off, so we're still working a lot, but also having an optional price increase, which is that price after hours fee. And you get to choose what that is.
Yeah.
Right? It really is what your time is worth.
Yeah.
And I That's the most I've heard somebody charging. I love that.
I was terrified, but she like literally did it.
Yeah, because you were basically like, I don't want to work, so you're gonna have to pay me an extra $100.
Right.
And she's like, okay. And you're like, what?
And I just was like, this girl's gonna get the best service she's ever had in her entire life. And like, I followed up with her before, I followed up with her after, like and she was like, these are the best lashes I've ever had, like ever. And so
what was the total cost of the service, or her like even with retail and all that?
It's $576.
Holy, for one day.
For one appointment.
Say it again, Ashley. We want a clip of this to share on social media. For one client.
Yes, it was $315 for the full set, an extra $100, gross serum and cleanser, $576.
Oh, I'm getting chills. How many of y'all's mouths are just on the floor?
I know.
I never did $576 on one client. Can you post this in the group and show what's possible?
I will. I mean, that was my most I've ever had too.
Yeah. I think that breaks some world records.
And let me tell you what, it's just like, it just keeps like I don't know. It's this momentum ball that's just like, whoosh, it's just going.
And the client was satisfied with the results.
Yeah. And I just, I care. I really care. And I feel like that's just putting in the personal touch and like giving your 100% at every single appointment and client. Like, it just means so much to the person. I might not be like the fastest lash artist. I don't think that I am, but I like really love to connect with my clients and remember things about them when they come in next time and like really make that personal touch. And like I said, I take that time away from my family and my kids to really connect with my clients, which is why I think my time is valuable. And I really enjoy my relationships that I build with them too. And I think that just like, it just brings the most out of your business and out of who you are as a person.
Yeah. And also you got to consider, like, if you're taking 7, 8, 9, 10 clients in a day, how much your fifth or sixth client and beyond, are you able to still show up and give that same connection? You're just like, I want to shank somebody with a tweezer after 5 clients.
Yeah, no, I'm 4 or 5 clients a day max. And I work 3 days a week, sometimes 4.
So what's the goal now?
Oh, I don't know. You really caught me at a crossroads because I am fully booked and I'm about to go into my like society to kind of refresh about like the price increase thing, because I'm starting to consider that. Maybe adding on another lash artist.
Yeah.
I don't know. The spa itself that I'm working with, we're also expanding big time. We're just rented out the whole building and we're doing a lot of things. So I don't know what my plans are next.
Awesome. Well, we can definitely chat in the society. Let's brainstorm, let's brain dump. And if you want to do bringing on team, we can definitely explore that, because that's what I do in one-on-one coaching, is talking about that.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways that you want to share about being pregnant, lashing, maternity for anybody?
Yes. Yeah, I just would say, honestly, just take the time for your baby. Like, take that time, take those 12 weeks off. Like, and that's the other thing too, is like, I went through a pandemic, right, where our business was shut down for 3 months and people still came back, like, and actually more people came back. And, you might drop a couple people, but 5 more doors opened after the 2 that shut. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I do miss those other clients too, but I just, I'm happy to have the new people that are in. And that's just always how it's going to be with business, is that, 1 door opens or one door closes and 3 more open. So,
yeah. And I think if you're considering, you have to look at it from the client perspective too. Like, even if you took, say, 6 weeks, which is kind of what we get here in the US standard,
yes,
that's really only 2, maybe 3 appointments for a client. It's not like they're every day they're thinking about how much they're missing you and whatnot. They may just be like, oh, I really love my other girl.
Right.
But we have to come from a place in abundance.
Mm-hmm.
If we're operating from a place of scarcity, we're making poor decisions in our business.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And this is where understanding marketing and learning marketing and having a system with marketing really puts you in the driver's seat of where your business growth is headed, whether you're taking maternity leave or not. That's always a skill that's going to serve you.
Right. And remembering too, that the time that you spend coming back, like, I think it was hard to give those full sets away at a, an extended fill price. But like I said, the price that I paid just for my time, just for those people to come back to me, like after 12 weeks, was just, it's a no-brainer. And it's even flattering that those people came back and they let their lashes go. Yeah. They let those lashes go. And I know how hard it is not to have lashes, to want to come back to see me. So like, I think that that's completely worth it. I love that idea for anyone who's considering maternity leave and wanting to come back. Like, I think it's a no-brainer for me. Or like I said, recommending someone else nearby that you can make connections with for another lash artist that you trust. and just know that it's going to be all right. You're going to be okay when you come
Just
back.
enjoy that baby and go through the ups and downs that being a mom comes with, especially when you're adding a new family member. Like, allow yourself that time.
Yes.
Money can always be made. We can always make more money. We don't get that time back when our kids are just freshies.
Right. Yeah, you have to enjoy, especially the more you have, the faster it goes.
Right.
Like,
they're long, the days go by quick.
Oh, yes.
All right. So selfishly, I want you to plug the Lashpreneur Society. What has been an amazing aspect of it that you keep hanging out?
I mean, my success.
We can end it right there.
I will say this. This is not a shameless plug at all. I absolutely have enjoyed being a part of the Lashpreneur Society because of these things like this, where, I can word search a thing in the group and for what I'm looking for. And it's just like all these people who have been through it too. Raising prices was one of them. Maternity leave was one of them. But just, I think the organization of my business and what I should be doing. I mean, I've learned a lot from my two girls, Cassie and Tiffany at work, but having you as a foundation and for the marketing part of it, and like the Reels training and the website training and all these things that make me look legit, I think is really important to people. And I never want to leave the society. Like, I'm never going to leave the society, actually, because I just know that there's always something of value there. Like the value.
I don't think your husband would let you either.
No, he wouldn't. He actually needs you just as much as I need you.
Her husband has reached out to me on Facebook, but he owns a gym, right?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's reached out to me a couple of times asking me questions through Facebook Messenger. He's like, my wife's part of your society. Can I ask you a question? I was like, sure. Go ahead.
He did the closed membership thing, and it's been working awesome for him.
Yeah. Well, give Ben a hi from me.
I will for sure.
All right, Ashley, I am beyond excited for you. I love that you're just doing it. It's maybe not beautiful, it's maybe not Instagram worthy, but you're a mom who's showing your kids what's possible, and I love that.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's all kudos to you. Thank you so much for the help.
Of course, anytime. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Bye.